Okay, so good morning on this Sunday, March 12th, the 71st day of my one video each day, 365-day donor campaign, seeking donors, big and tall, short and small, um, to make up for life lost because of events beginning the fourth Monday of January 2011. And of course, it's Philadelphia Walks PTSD. My name is Sharon Cole, or Sharon or Cole, whatever you want to refer to me as. It doesn't matter. In a good way, I don't care. I've been called everything under the sun, rat, pig, horse, cow, dog, what have you. Here's a new one, slut. So I'll have to go with the word slut and say that what if we put that on the male species because they can't keep it in the pants, right? So this is something, hopefully a lot of women learn this when they're in high school. If it's still going on today, I don't know, because a lot of people have been so modernized that girls don't even care any longer by immature people in a school to say that a female is a slut, when really, who's really the slut? You know what I mean? If men are horn dogs, or young men in their horniest days of upbringing or childhood are the horn dogs and pursuing and using all kinds of manipulative tactics to go after the female per se, and they're blaming a female who either is surprised that someone actually shows admiration, or that they want me to say a female who can't say no, but apparently the guy can't say no either, to changing his habits. So anyway, just a really quick thing here, and it just happens to be a lot of pub crawling this weekend for St. Patty's Day. All month long there's parties, so there's a lot of issues with people winding up together. So anyway, this is something that I haven't had to deal with in many years. When you sort of have to take the power back as a female. And I even have wound up in the LGBT community, and in a way you can sort of turn the tables and whatever, I don't even care. By the time you're 50, you're like, who isn't a slut? I mean, let's get real, So anyway, but point being, it's day 71. What did begin the fourth Monday of January 2011 is a very serious matter. I'm fortunately 12, 13 years later, things are quieter. The pandemic kind of helped in that. Also, I moved from Philadelphia to Florida in 2018, and that helped a little. But there are things that crop up here and there. I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, like a game in the universe, it can seem like. It started off with an orchestrated series of events to make me feel like I'd be murdered in my apartment. Like very serious, pretty serious. We are talking pretty times 6,010. Very serious. And I was trembling and shaking so badly in my apartment, I could barely hold the phone that I had at the time. And I had just gotten a smartphone. It was a Palm phone. And I was always late to the party on technology. So like here, I have no idea how I don't have any special editing programs to make my videos more interesting or what have you. It's a lot of work. So, I have other things I have to do. If I had the time, I would have all these editing things and have words all over the page. But anyway, but I had a little tiny Palm smartphone that I got through Verizon, and I could barely, turns out when you're scared to death in your apartment, and there's one way in, one way out, and bars on the window because you're on a first floor apartment of a row home, turns out your muscles go limp and you can't actually scream. I couldn't make a sound through I was so stunned into shock and PTSD out the roof, that I could not, it's hard to explain. People think they can scream, or they think they could run maybe in a situation. The body actually shuts down, becomes limp, and it's like I couldn't figure out how to get anything out. Finally called my sister. I thought someone was coming up from the basement and would break into my door and kill me. I thought it was the last night of my life. And then if that were enough for whoever set this off, and there is a group of people, there is an orchestrated group of people. And I don't know if I'm supposed to be thankful, because in the end, I wound up doing yoga. Like, I became ultra productive, but I think different people came in to help me scoot along while I was being tortured by all kinds of games going on outside. But if you ever want to help someone, you don't torture them, right? Like, that's not the way to grow someone. Technically, I have PTSD and I have been known to snap out on the streets if something were to happen. And technically, there's a lot of anger and frustration, just like there is with anyone who can't be heard or can't express their pain and trauma. And it'll come up every once in a while as just a blood curdling scream, and you want to punch people in the face for not knowing, or for not fessing up, or for the people who did this to never be held accountable in some way, or for me not to get paid. I have a hard time making a living. I want to be able to have what I set out to have. I actually have been through school and everything else. And then I was forced to go to an MFA thinking that would help me escape whatever it was. So whoever set it off is one sadistic MFer. Who is it? Where do they come from? I'm guessing there's a he. My guess would be, men tend to run the universe at higher levels. No offense, ladies, you'd have to be incredibly wealthy and from a wealthy family to believe you're partially in control. But the truth is, it's a patriarchal society. And as feminist as we all want to be, and trust me, I've been through the LGBT community, the whole thing. I've been through the feminist movement. I've been trained through domestic violence agencies and everything to support women. In the end, women have to operate in this world a certain way because men are still pulling the strings from the top. And I don't see that changing in my lifetime or 5 lifetimes from now. So it's just the way it is. We're wired differently. So whoever kicked off this thing, I'm kind of curious if they feel badly, if they can sleep at night, or if they got some sort of crown to wear on their head. It would be like Satan's crown, not Jesus's crown. And I don't know what to say. I do know that whoever kicked this off probably believes that he's in control of millions of minions of people, because so many people did the bidding of whoever set this off by wearing certain t-shirts, by milling around and creeping me out specifically. But I know they can do it to anyone. And it's like, how do they know where I'm going to be? Other than having a set schedule and being a dog walker at the time, how do they know where I'm going to be? I can try to keep changing my direction. You know what? I'll go walk the dog, but I'm gonna come around this block instead of that block just to see if I can avoid whatever stuff is going on here. And it's not regular street stuff that was happening. These are orchestrated skits, people who have set up tricks and all kinds of stuff wherever you go. It was very sick, very, very sick city. You want to talk about a virus? These people were the virus. And I want to know if the coronavirus is almost created to shut down America and to reset, to force these people into different directions. I am so not kidding. Now, I don't suggest that I'm the only target, but I know what happened to me. I believe there are other targets because I reached out to different hotlines of people claiming they experienced all kinds of weird things. So I was like, let me see what other people are experiencing. But in the end, I'm running around the city in a cat and mouse game, wondering what the hell's going on, while being made to believe that people are watching and giggling and laughing like, oh my gosh, she's a dinosaur. That's another one. I'll have to use that in the beginning. She must be a dinosaur because she doesn't know how to do what we do. Well, technically, they're the dinosaurs, because another person posited that these are ancient, old wartime tactics, tricks. They're basically illusionist tricks, mentalist tricks that are used from ages and ages and ages ago. They're extremist group tricks. They're terroristic tricks used by extremist groups going back as long as, forever. I didn't grow up in a world where people knew these things. Like, what do people do? It's not like just burning a cross on someone's lawn. This goes way beyond that. People learned to stalk a long time ago in a certain way so as not to be detected by law enforcement or to be brought in by law enforcement. Law enforcement only recognizes one person doing a very obvious thing, like standing in your bushes and dropping a bomb in front of your door. Like, you would have to do something incredibly. So law enforcement, it's too hard for them to catch or hold people accountable for this kind of stuff because you would have to prove it. And whoever's behind it knows how to cowardly hide and not be seen. But this forced me I was forced to stay with dog walking. I was kind of trapped in dog walking. I actually see a lot of my clients from back in the day as being part of a human trafficking ring because they kept playing games with the schedule. And it's the thing where your brain is trying to adjust to everybody's demands and needs. and this and their behaviors and this and that, alarms going off every time you come in people's houses, even though they gave you this number to disarm the alarm, and so forth and so on. And there's so many games being played by so many people against one person that you're kind of trapped. And every time you try to feel like, okay, maybe I can go over here, I'll try to get an MFA, or I'll try to figure out, like, I didn't even want to have to get an MFA because I didn't want to have to pay a student loan or anything like that, or have to worry about it. But it became like the only option that I could think of how to escape. If I go over here and go commute to New York twice a week via a bus, maybe I'll see that things are different here. I kept trying to figure out, and I was running around 7 to 8 years. Then someone came along and kind of invisibly was like, you must exit the dog walking world. The last remaining clients who are here, we're getting to the point where some clients left because the Obama administration had ended. So somehow it coincided. I don't know that they were really Obama supporters. I just know they used that time period. So someone was like, to the last remaining clients, no, you will not be showing up. You will be leaving. And they will have to wonder what happened. We need to figure out who knows what and how they can hear and know your business. So Sharon was dragged. We'll go on the Underground Railroad-ish, not to minimize the Underground Railroad, but it's in that realm of, we'll go down here. We're going to drag you through here. We're going to live in a van for 6 weeks. You're going to be scared shitless, but just try to trust us, try to trust us, try to trust us. Throwing up, all kinds of stuff going on. Wind up, calling everyone known to man to figure out where I can live. Hop here, hop there. Wound up staying in someone's house, which didn't have running water for 3 weeks between Passover and Easter. And I stayed there for about 8 months until finally feeling forced to move down to Delaware, where my dad and lived with his wife of many years, and my mom, and she lived with my aunt in 2 separate towns. I didn't want to bother them, and what was happening was so bizarre that it's like, I don't want them to think that there's something wrong. Like, I didn't do anything wrong. I've never done anything wrong. So can you imagine your daughter who worked really hard and, never did anything wrong, never got into trouble, nothing, but could be made to look like it? What would you do if you were made to look like you got in trouble, or that you were, some severe problem, and you really weren't? Somebody else pushed you in a weird corner and you don't know what to say to your parents or what have you. Anyway, my parents are all deceased now, but just wanted to come on really quick to say it was a really big and bad thing that started. And it was a setup like no other. Whoever started it needs to step forward and man up, if possible. I don't know, man would be a strong word to use for someone who did this. It would be like, do you want to use torture on your own daughter or on yourself in order to grow someone as a person? I think someone else came along and tried to keep me going, and they helped me get into other things that could help me cope with what was going on. Because there were so many tactics going on out here. I couldn't lock my bike. I used my bike for dog walks. I couldn't lock it for a second without someone having to play with it one way or the other. So I could go on for the next 30 years trying to describe everything that went on if I could remember everything. But it's a trap, what they did. It's sad and disgusting. And there are a lot of people who appear to be, appear to be above average on the money scale. And technically, they are part of a human trafficking ring, keeping someone scared shitless, confused, constantly having to address a whole bunch of issues all the time, trapped in dog walking, unable to go anywhere else, trying to figure out what's going on 24/7. These people hijacked my brain, and they look like fairly good citizens in society. They could be working at a law firm or an accounting firm, a major bank, Deloitte, Vanguard, Blank and Rome, DuPont. There are more, but these people are actually rapists and human traffickers, and they have kids and they live in nice homes. Okay, have a great day. They're part of a very serious problem here in Philadelphia.